Okay, so are we ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am, we're ready to begin.
All right, so what does it mean to be future ready?
See, man, and, go, will. Future Ready to me means preparing our students to go out into this fast, forever changing world with the necessary tools to be happy, successful, and productive citizens.
To be future ready, it means my students are prepared to solve problems in the future, whether it's in class, whether it's at their job, whether it's in their family life. It means that I've given them the tools that whenever they're approached with any kind of confrontation or problem, that they can not freak out because they don't know the answer, and they can have steps in place in their own little head that tells them how to get through it, and then they can come out the other side, pony up, power through, and they've solved the problem.
Decatur is such a cutting-edge district. We have all this technology right at our fingertips, and the computers are becoming more than just an alternative to a paper assignment. They're preparing students for what they'll be doing in their careers in the future.
Whenever we were presented with HEAT at the training that we went through, it was like higher order thinking, engaged students, authentic learning, and technology.
With HEAT, I am able to take our lessons one step further and really challenge my students to be creative and think on their own and be innovative in their thinking.
I like the authentic learning part of the HEAT because if I make it relevant to them and they understand why are we learning this material, then they can apply it, and then you get the engagement, you get the higher order thinking because they start questioning and saying, this matters, so this is why I need to learn this. So I think that the authentic, tying it back to a real world is the best way to get the other components of the HEAT.
It helps me to reflect when I'm writing my lesson plans on, am I including an appropriate amount of technology? Am I thinking creatively about ways that I might use the technology that I might otherwise not just think of immediately, but to kind of make me aware that that is one of my goals.
I'm no longer standing up in front of the room every day telling them what they need to learn. I'm telling them how they need to go about doing something, and they're learning on their own.
I think for traditional teaching, you have certain students that really excel. It's easy for them. Rote memorization, they can memorize it, they make straight A's, and I don't ever require them to do more. I think with Future Ready that I can meet much more students of where they're at. I might have a student who doesn't make straight A's but is brilliantly creative and come up with problems, and so I think it reaches more kids to say that I think they feel sometimes like I'm not good at school or I can't, do what other people do, but they might have other skills and attributes that I can bring out through this style of teaching versus just traditional.
It's more student-based. The students really get to take their knowledge and teach their group. They get to kind of be the teachers and lead their group. They're learning new things. They're taking technology and having to use that to learn what we're learning, and then we can come into the class and then discuss those things, but they really get to take their knowledge and be creative with it and teach the rest of the class.
Future Ready is going to have them absolutely ready for college and ready for whatever their passions lead them to do outside of college. Future Ready is taking an elementary student, and now I'm ready for middle school, and a middle school student, and now I'm ready for high school. It's preparing them for each step of the way so that the transition is not so tough.
As we prepare them more future ready in elementary, they're going to have skills as they get on up in the upper grades, even on the other end of our elementary schools in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. If they have those skills, the teachers can build on them and take them even further. And then by the time the kids get out of elementary and get into middle school, they can do so much more and enrich what their background is because they have such a stronger foundation.
They're going to be able to be collaborative with people out in the workforce. They're going to be able to use the technology that they have, and they're going to be able to think on their own and be innovative as far as creating new technology. It's an endless amount of things that they can do.
I hope that we've always had a positive effect. I mean, that is our goal as high school teachers, is to prepare students for their future. So that has, I think, always been my focus, and I think the focus of my colleagues at Decatur High School.
I've been so excited about the direction of the district and my school moving in the direction of Future Ready. One of the things that has been the most exciting to see is the amount of student engagement that I see when I walk into a classroom. Before, when I would walk into a classroom, I might see a teacher up at the front of the room explaining math problems. Now, when I walk in, I see kids communicating and collaborating. I've seen so much more technology involved in the classrooms. I've seen whole classrooms Skyping. I've seen kids Skyping with other kids in other districts, and it has been so great to see.
That question has been phrased in many different ways. You know, what are my thoughts, or what does it mean? The reality is managing a building and telling people that our campus is future ready and our students are future ready, it really comes down to philosophy. The philosophy of what we're going to, how we're going to instruct our children and our students and what they're prepared for. It's unique and sometimes a little bit different to hear an administrator say, well, not every kid's going to go to college. But if we're dealing with what does it mean to make a student future ready, in my opinion, we have to create an environment here for when they walk across that stage, their choices after high school are numerous and available, and they get to pick.
Final question. How will Future Ready affect students after high school?
Well, I think what we're looking for here is how can we prepare the kids to be ready for their academics and their vocational skills after they leave here. How can we prepare them to be successful? That's what Future Ready is all about, getting them ready for life after high school.